Welcome to ERi-TV English News Broadcast, dear viewers. It's now exactly 10:30 p.m. Asmara time, and we are ready for a domestic and international report for January 5th, 2026. To begin with, I present you the major headlines. National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students adopts 5-year strategic plan. Ambassador Fussahat Petros conducts seminar to Diaspora nationals. In our international, at least 50 people killed in market attack in Nigeria's Niger State. And China and South Korea sign 9 cooperation agreements. In today's domestic report, the Executive Committee of the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students reviewed the implementation of activities of 2025 and adopted a 5-year strategic plan at a meeting conducted on January 3rd in Asmara. According to reports presented at the meeting, over the past 5 years, praiseworthy activities have been conducted focusing on the expansion and strengthening of youth organizations, organizing various vocational training programs, enabling the youth to become economically self-supportive, as well as encouraging programs and competitions to promote the creativity, innovation and skills of the youth. The meeting finally adopted a 5-year strategic plan that incorporates 5 goals, including organizational, political, economic, cultural and media objectives, which are expected to strengthen the role and contribution of the youth in national resilience and development programs. Mr. Salah Ahmadin, Chairman of the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students, indicating the significance of the strategic plan in the implementation of the Union's mission and objectives, noted that it takes into account opportunities and challenges, as well as identifying strengths and bottlenecks. Commending the contribution of all partners, and especially the Ministry of Education, Mr. Saleh called for reinforced participation for better outcomes. Moving on, at a seminar, Mr. Fussahat Petros, Eritrea's ambassador to Italy and Scandinavian countries, as well as coordinator of Eritrean embassies in Europe, conducted for a gathering of Eritrean nationals in Geneva, Switzerland, in connection with the New Year, called for strengthening contributions through their knowledge and skills in national affairs in the year 2026. Ambassador Fussahat also provided a briefing on the objective situation in the homeland, as well as regional and global developments, underlining that the Eritrean people inside the country and abroad have over the past years emerged victorious and are standing in a better position by foiling all sorts of challenges through consolidating unity and preserving national values. Ambassador Fussahat expressed expectation that the fourth front, especially the youth, would strengthen unity and organization and play their due part in national programs. Mr. Habtom Zerai, chargé d'affaires at the Eritrean Embassy in Switzerland and permanent representative to UN offices and other international organizations in Geneva, said that owing to the strong and integrated efforts exerted, Eritrea is standing on firm ground foiling external hostilities, and noted that the cultural program organized with the participation of veteran artists reflects this reality. Mr. Agostino Rosom, chairman of the YPFDJ in Switzerland, indicating that the cultural program organized in connection with the New Year incorporated 3 generations, called on the youth to take note of the huge responsibility awaiting them to play their due role in national affairs. In another news, dirt road renovation in collaboration with the public and popular forces is being carried out in Hal subzone. The road had been damaged due to flooding and had become difficult for vehicles to use. Mr. Grimatzion Abraha, administrator of the subzone, said that the renovation process includes the construction and renovation of water diversion canals. Noting that the road is vital for residents to facilitate their daily activities, the residents expressed readiness to actively participate in the renovation program. Mr. Suleiman Omar, secretary of the PFDJ in the subzone, said that the program is part of the construction and development programs being carried out by the public and government organs, and commended the strong participation of the public. This wraps up our domestic news for this session. Dear viewers, do stay tuned, for we shall be back with international ones after the short break. Welcome back. Now, the global arena, at least 50 people have been killed and several others abducted after gunmen attacked a market in Nigeria's Niger state, according to the state's police. The attackers stormed in market in Dimo village on Saturday afternoon, setting stores on fire and looting flood. Police say the gunmen, locally known as bandits, arrived on motorcycles and opened fire indiscriminately. Witnesses described scenes of panic, saying women and children were not spared and bodies were still being recovered hours later. Police say efforts are underway to rescue those kidnapped, while the military has yet to comment. The assault comes weeks after more than 300 school children and staff were abducted in the same state and held for nearly a month. Bandit attacks and mass kidnappings continue to escalate across northwestern and central Nigeria as security forces struggle to contain the growing violence. Moving on, Chinese and South Korean companies signed 9 cooperation agreements, authorities said today during a state visit by South Korean President Lee Jae-myung to China. Speaking at a business forum, President Lee said that South Korea and China need to expand economic cooperation over artificial intelligence. The president also said cooperation in consumer goods such as household goods, beauty, food products and cultural content such as movies, music, games and sports could also serve as new breakthroughs. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung arrived for his 4-day state visit on Sunday, January 4th, along with a delegation of more than 200 South Korean business leaders. President Lee's visit to China's capital is the first since he took office in June and comes amid intensifying global tensions after North Korea launched ballistic missiles and the U.S. attack on Venezuela. In today's final report, Turkey's annual inflation rate slowed to 30.89% in December, down from 31.07% in November, according to official figures released today. Data showed that consumer prices continued to rise across the 3 main expenditure groups, which carry the largest weights in the inflation basket, said the Turkish Statistical Institute. On an annual basis, prices increased by 28.31% for food and non-alcoholic beverage, 28.44% for transportation, and 49.45% for housing. These categories were also the largest contributors to the annual inflation rate. Food and non-alcoholic beverage contributed 7.07 percentage points, housing accounted for 7.52 percentage points, and transportation added 4.36% to the overall increase. Turkey has been wrestling with high inflation since a 2018 currency crisis, and elevated price pressures have eroded the purchasing power of households and businesses. The country's central bank has been gradually cutting its benchmark 1-week repo rate since mid-2025. With this, we conclude our domestic and international report for this session. Dear viewers, before we finalize, I present you the major headlines once more. The National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students adopts a 5-year strategic plan. Ambassador Fissahat Petros conducts seminar to Diaspora nationals. In our international, at least 50 people killed in market attack in Nigeria's Niger state. And China and South Korea signed 9 cooperation agreements. This was the World on Monday with ERi-TV English news broadcast. Dear viewers, from all of us here, thank you for watching. Join us again on our tomorrow's broadcast. Until then, have a nice night.